They fabricate, risk or through news and media and all kinds of things, so that you would think it's too hard to enter that market or too risky. So that's another, fear is a strategy used by some people. And
each level need a new strategy.
yeah,
You cannot use the same strategy from 1 to 2 for you to get to 2 to 3.
yes. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode 21 of 7X Growth Podcast. My name is Gerold Joubert, and with me here in the studio today, I have my co-host Christian Nyembue. Christian, thank you so much for once again, as always, being with me in the studio.
Thank you so much, and I'm happy to be here and always ready. We love to be here and just give to our people what we know the best.
Yeah, the studio is an awesome place to be. It's so much fun being in the studio. So
how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Yeah, it's been a really epic week. So lots of fun. Glad that we can also live stream to our audiences. This is very exciting. Very soon we'll be able to also answer questions and all kinds of things. So actually I can see the comments here. So if we have any questions coming in, I'll tell you. You can answer the difficult ones.
Why?
You're the one with the glasses. So that's why, because you're the smart one. All right.
It's funny.
So today we are going to be talking about strategy, the importance of strategy within the business, and how you can implement strategy in your business, and why it's important that you do work on strategy. What role does strategy play in leadership and in businesses? As on Monday, or when you are listening to this, it would be the last week if you are not listening to the live recording. What role does strategy play within leadership within a business? Now, the interesting thing about strategy is that I almost feel like it is one of those things that is kind of, there's a definition for it, but that definition doesn't really serve it well in the context of the importance of what it really is. We know that in many definitions, or in many textbooks, as we can say, the definition for strategy is the plan for the plan, how you're going to action your plan. That is the strategy. But I almost feel like that lacks the depth of the power behind strategy, right? There's strategy is so important. We said this morning, we were busy chatting in the car, and we said that that wars are not won by the strong necessarily, neither by the swift. And even Proverbs speaks about this, that it's not, the race is not for the quick or for the strong, but really a big part of victories is because of strategy. And today maybe we can talk about together what is strategy then. If it's more than just a plan, if it's more than just how I'm going to get to that plan, then surely there is a much deeper meaning to strategy that we can explore together. So I want to hear from you, first of all. What do you think is strategy? And this doesn't have to be, some professional opinion or anything. Just off the cuff, like, what is your thinking around when you hear strategy? What is your thinking around that?
When I hear strategy, what comes to my mind first is a state of mind. It's a kind of thinking things, It's a mindset. Because a strategist is someone who think about how can move things around, or you can move around, because it's not a vision, but it's something that can take you to your vision, and then between between you and your vision, between you and your goal, between you and like your plan, there's something in the middle that have to be implemented, that we have to do, to think, to go. Because with a strategy, when you go, you might find, okay, I thought it was like this, but it's not like this, I have to move it. So it's mostly a thinking way, a thinking thing. I don't know if that's English exists, but it's mostly into thinking, because you think all the time. That's why you see companies, they always have like those where they call strategic meetings. Okay, how it's going to be, how are we going to deliver on the like the best? How can we change our product? How can we? That's mostly the how, but that how goes with the way you think. Mostly, I don't know if that's definition, but that's what I understand, because it's something that every day you wake up with it and you try to see how can I get to where I want to go as quick as possible. How can I deliver as quick as possible? How can I change my life as quick as possible? Even if we know that it's a journey.
No, that's a great way of thinking about strategy, that it is a thought process. It is, how can we say, it's a way of thinking. And I think that's important to understand, because we have, even when I was in corporate, we used to have these strat sessions, and you would go somewhere for a whole day and just strategize, but everything just went on to paper. Yes, we were brainstorming, which is helping the process of thinking and coming to new ideas, or thinking of better ways to do certain things. But at the end of the day, we left there, and for most of us, really nothing changed. We just went back to our work, because that strategy did not really impact the way that we think. And that's maybe why also it is sometimes difficult for companies to implement strategy, because it's almost like a vision. You have to not only know how to formulate a strategy, how to create a strategy, but also you need to know how to communicate a strategy, and then you need to know how to embed the strategy within the thinking of the company and the employees, so that they can think in that way, because a strategy is meant to change the way that we think, because it is the method of getting, like you said, getting to the plan. We used this morning, we were talking about you mentioned how that strategy is like the route that is taken. Like you have a map, and the map is the plan. Like on the GPS, you see the whole map, and you want to drive to Johannesburg, and the GPS tells you, well, here's the map, which is good for nothing, because if it doesn't tell you where to drive, then that map means nothing. And that's like a plan without a strategy is like a map. It's just like a paper map, right? You don't know what is the fastest route. You don't know what is the best route. But when you have the GPS turned on, that is like strategy. Strategy is what is the best route to take? What is the angle of approach that we're going to take towards getting to our end goal? And I love thinking about it in this way, and what you mentioned about strategy being thinking. So if strategy does not become part of our thinking, then it's just a plan, it's just a goal.
I see. Today we went to the bookshop. You see, I saw that small Art of War. Like you see the small one, yes. And then we were even asking why it is like this. You are the one who even say it's for you to have it in the pocket, even when you go to war. Like, why do you need it in your pocket? It's because you will need it all the time.
Yeah.
So strategy is something that you think, you implement. You think, you implement. If it works, it gets you to somewhere. And then, but it's not something that's fixed, because each level need a new strategy.
Yeah.
You cannot use the same strategy from 1 to 2 for you to get to 2 to 3.
Yes.
Yes, sometimes you can use the same strategy if it's a good one, but most of the time you need a different one because the environment and the weather and so many things they are not the same. It's like if McDonald's want to expand in, for example, in Central Africa, they're not going to use the same strategy that they're using in South Africa or in Europe. They have to come with a new approach of doing things, but it's the same product, the same brand, the same, like you can say, the same entrepreneur,
Yes.
but different approach. And then so we can say, okay, strategy is that new approach, that new way of thinking, seeing things. So that I can say. But strategy need proper map.
Yes.
That's why, as here we speak about businesses, about entrepreneurship, we know that entrepreneurship works with numbers. So you as an entrepreneur, you as a businessman or as a company, your strategy works with your numbers. So you create the strategy based off your numbers, but you have to know what do you want?
Yeah, the vision.
Yeah, what do you want? Okay, I want to be a $1 million business in 1 year. How can you get there? That's now you come with your strategy.
Yes.
I have to sell 1, 2, 3, 4. I have to do this kind of marketing. That's when now you see strategy now from the leader who is thinking about the strategy. Now start to implement now that strategy in each department, each branch of the business, so that you can get to the goal where you want, but you have to have something in your mind. So strategy always works with your plan. I see people most of the time write plans,
All the
write
time.
goals. But how? I will say it again, like someone asked me, okay, what do you want to do this year? Okay, obvious. Now I want to make money this year. I was resting so that I can be ready for that. And then asked me how. That's okay. What is your plan? What's your strategy? Or you want to use? Okay, I want to do 1, 2, 3, 4 because I know with what I have right now, if I move this one, or I learn 1 skill or 2 skills, it's going to take me to this. It's going to help me to double my production, or it's going to help me to deliver quickly. It's going to help me to sell more. You see, that's now your strategy.
Yeah.
So that's
that's good. I like that you mentioned, that there is a difference between having maybe we can lay out the flow of these, because these terms like dream, vision, goals, plans, strategy, tactics, they sound similar, and many times people even confuse them to be the same thing in certain areas, but they really are not the same thing at all. So let's just those 6, we can call them maybe I don't know what to call them, the 6 levels of something. But if you have a good name for this, right? I'm going to mention it. If you have a good name for this, let us know. You can win a prize. We'll send you a chocolate or something,
Yes.
or an Oxana 7 hat or something. So it starts off with a dream, right? A dream is just a dream. It is something that is not even maybe realistic. It is something that is just a pie in the sky. It is something that it might be or it might not be. You might pursue it, you might not pursue it. A dream doesn't have any authenticity to it, right? There's no reality to a dream, really. And then the next level, so that's the highest level of almost, it is superficial, right? The dream is superficial. It's like one day I want to be, famous, for example. Not me. I don't want to be famous, but if there's nothing wrong with that,
you are famous.
One day I want to be famous, right? That's when your sentence starts with one day, that's a dream. And then after the dream, we go into a vision. When you start to take your dream seriously and you start to put a plan to it, it becomes a vision, right? So you have dream, then you have a vision, and then under your vision now you create goals, because goals are the dots that you have to connect in order to draw the picture, which is the vision that ultimately fulfills the dream. After you have the goals, because goals don't fulfill visions, goals don't make you rich, goals don't win prizes. We said the other day, we were discussing something and we said that, that winners and losers have the same goal. They both play to win. So if goals if all you needed was a goal to succeed, then everybody with a goal should have succeeded.
Yeah.
But the winners and losers, because they don't. So after the goal, you have a plan, because the plan is how to implement now to get to the goal. Then you have the strategy, which is the mindset behind the plan. What is the angle of approach? What is the method we're going, like you were saying? What is how are we going to fulfill this plan? What is the most effective, the most productive, the most efficient way that we can do this? And then at the very bottom, you have something that is called tactics.
Yeah.
And we mentioned, talking about the book of Art of War, Sun Tzu, he says that, and I might misquote this a little bit, it's been a while since I read that, but he said that a strategy without tactics is what did he say? A strategy without, I can't even remember that. He said tactics without the strategy is the fastest way to lose. I can't remember what he said about strategy and tactics, but he explained those two things compared to like that. But tactics then is the physical implementation of the strategy. It's how you move, it's the way you kick the ball. It is the skill that is implemented in order to execute the strategy that will lead you to fulfill the plan.
The implementation of the strategy. A simple example, for example, between but that just to complete what you are saying.
Yes.
Like there's a strategy, you have it in your mind. Okay, this is how I'm going to approach this. For example, in the battle, there's the enemy on the other side. You have your strategy. Okay, this is how we are going to get to defeat our enemy. So now the tactics now comes. So now, okay, what is the good way to do it? How are we going to move so that they don't see us?
Yes, it's
so
the
that
skill.
So that they don't understand. That's why in the Heart of the War, he talks about what he calls it, to pretend to be weak when you are strong. When you are strong, when you are weak,
pretend to be strong. Yeah.
That's like tactics that you use so that you can get your enemy to get to your to come to your hand so that you can just
I actually remembered now what it was. He said that strategy without tactics is the slowest way to victory, right? Because if you have a good strategy, you can still win, even if you have bad tactics, but it's going to take a long time because you're going to lack the skill to implement the strategy. But if you have tactics without any strategy, that's the fastest way to lose. Because that's like just swinging your sword. You don't know how to use the sword, but you're going to fight the enemy, or you're going to play a soccer game against another team, but you don't know how to kick the ball. So you can have everything planned out on the board. That's your strategy. What is the goal? To win. What is the plan? We're going to score goals. What is the strategy? Well, we're going to, you're going to flank this way, and then you're going to pass it to the striker, and then he's going to pretend to kick and then pass it backwards. That's the strategy. But if you don't know how to dribble a ball,
it's a problem.
It means nothing, right? It is no point.
So we are 7x growth, and strategy is one of our pillar and one of the what we think be very important in business. So here, out of the war, it's not just only in the war, like Russia and Ukraine, Israel with the other one, but in the business it's almost the same because there is a market and everyone want to get something to that market. And your strategy is now your way to win in that battle. Your strategy is your way to get the biggest portion of the market
share.
Of that market, to be the one who can drive that, so that can drive the someone who can make the law in the market. For example, in the market of like phones, we know big guys that are there. And some of us who want to get there will come to play their game. And then even our pricing will have to be in the balance with them because they have the power. So that's your strategy. Okay, I want to start a business. I am in the business, but it's not moving. For example, we had a meeting with another client. The client was open, was like, no, okay, I've been playing this game for years, trying to push this company. And I've spent like, let's say, 400,000. But I'm not seeing any outcome. I'm not making money. I'm losing money. How can I now reverse this one? So now you come with a strategy. Okay, I'm seeing maybe I'm pushing more money toward just posting or doing things. I'm not pushing with my sale. Maybe my approach of sales is not good. It's not good. My processes are not good. My marketing, I'm not putting money in my marketing. What can I move? What can I add? What can I remove? That's your strategy. And then your tactic now, it will just come in the way you implement it. You implement your strategy because that will depend with your capability, your capacity of implementing your strategy. Yes. Maybe sometime you have to partner with people so that you can get to your strategy. Maybe sometime you have to give a portion of your market share so that you can get someone on the board that can help you. Maybe sometime you have just to put a lot of money in marketing so that you can put yourself in front of people and try to get some lead that you can convert to sales. Yeah. So that's your strategy. And every business need to have that approach of the business. Yeah. If you don't know what you're doing in the business, no matter how good is your product, no matter how good is your product, if you don't know, you don't have any strategy in the way to get in front of people, you don't have any strategy in the way to sell, to convert, because the difference between, yes, it's one of the things we talk about it, but the difference between marketing and sales is marketing is putting you in front of people. Oh, okay, are you looking for earphones? Yeah, I'm looking for earphones. My earphones are good. That person now, okay, is interested to get you to buy your product. And then from that, you have to have now a strategy in how to take that person from the state or from the place of being interested to your product to a place where you put the hand in the pocket, take money out and buy your product.
Yes.
And then that's also, it's a strategy that we have to have or to build, to think about. And then often it will be changing because you try different one until to get to the goal. But strategy is very important for you to win in the market.
Well, I like what you said about now the end, the strategy sometimes changes, right? It's not always the same. And that's the nature of strategy, is that it is alive. It is a mindset, and it grows. You know, your strategy today might be one way, and as you are growing, you realize that, okay, we need to change the strategy. It's no longer working. And so it can't be a stagnant thing where, okay, this is our and this is why I just, man, it's good. Don't get me wrong. Like, strat sessions are great. But if you're not going to follow up with those things, and if you decide this is our strategy for the whole year, you have a problem, because we know how much happens in 1 year. You know, I think about last year, and I have a hard time figuring out where everything fitted in. How did so many things happen in 1 year?
Yeah.
You know, you feel like it's impossible. And so it is important that we realize that strategy is not something that we meet together for a day and then we brainstorm and we eat some peanuts and we drink some hotel water and we write down some things on a board and we pay someone to facilitate this chat session and then we leave there and that's just where it stays. No. That strategy needs to get legs. You know, it needs what skills are going to be required. When are we going to revisit this? How are we going to know whether the strategy is working or not? Is there a measurable to the strategy? If you're not measuring it, then how do you know if it's even working? How do you know if you're winning or you're busy losing?
That's why you need to have a proper number or a proper measurement, something that you can measure your strategy to. Because if strategy is just okay, or I want to sell 5 products, okay. If you sell those 5 products, are you going to make profit?
Is it enough?
Is it enough? Because sometimes we just sell things and we don't measure extra money or extra things that comes. For example, if you pay me 5,000, I know that for me to give you your product, to get to your product, I need to spend, let's say, 4,000.
Yeah.
And my profit is only 1,000. So I have to know, okay, my number is, let's say, I want for me to survive in a month, to pay all my expenses, the rent or whatever. If you're still renting, I need, let's say, 100,000. How many products I must sell for me to get to my things? And then, how am I going to do this? How many of them do I want to sell a day, a week, a month? You know, in this, you move around that. And I have to sell 2 or 3 or 5 a day. Okay, how am I going to sell 5? How am I going to push this? So it's a level of it. You get your number. Now you get to how to get to those number. Okay, now you go down, and then more you spend time. That's why we say it's a thinking think. It's a thinking think. Joking. No, it's a way of thinking. It's a state of mind, because you think all the time. You know how to get to think to what you want, how to get to your vision, how to get to what you want, because you have to survive. You have to do the business. So that's why you see that entrepreneurs, CEOs, business people, they think all the time. What do you think they think about?
Puppies.
No. They think about how to get to their goal. So, okay, I have to do partnership. I want to do this. And how can I make more profit? How can I do things? Okay, this partnership, how can I get something from this? Because if you don't think that, the other person think that, that person will use you or will take more from you because you don't wanna spend more time in thinking how to do those things.
You must fight to get the advantage.
So you play your game, he plays his game, your competition play the game, you play yours. You cannot say, no, this is unfair, it's not fair. No.
Life is not fair.
You have the responsibility to change things. So have a strategy and work on that.
Yeah.
Open to change. Because sometimes even after we think about something, we realize that our strategy is not working. But we think about the time that we spend to build that strategy. We don't want to leave it. We keep in that because this is my baby. I don't want to leave my baby. I spend a lot of time. That now 50 hours of trying to do these things, and then just like this, you see
the pride. Remember we spoke about pride last time. We spoke about the pride. Now, strategy is really amazing, but it's something that requires practice, and it goes hand in hand with leadership, because leaders are the main creators, the main visionaries, and the main drivers of strategy. When there is no strategy in the company, and really, I was thinking as you're talking, I'm thinking about how strategy, and maybe this is a discussion to have with somebody that works with organizational behavior. How does the strategy impact the culture of the company? And this is something that I firsthand experienced, how the wrong type of strategy can negatively influence the company's culture and drive the wrong behavior in the company. So when the leader creates a strategy, then the leader needs to communicate that strategy, and the leader needs to help him to bring the tactics so that the people have the right skills and equipment to implement that strategy. Otherwise, it just becomes, one of those things that's written on the whiteboard and it stays there. Another thing is that when we look at, for example, the 7 pillars of business growth, strategy, just like leadership, is fundamental to each one of them. And it's kind of funny because, you talk to clients and you talk to them about their branding strategy. You talk to them about their marketing strategy. You talk to them about their sales strategy. You talk to them about their ops strategy. You talk to them about their financial strategy. It's like, it's everywhere, because all of these pillars stand only by leadership and by the strategy that's placed behind them, because every one of these pillars have a goal. And every goal has connected to it a plan, so that this section, and there's no, we can't silo a company into these 7 things. They all intertwine, they connect to each other. It's very complicated. But where there is no strategy in these areas, then they just become a name tag. It's almost like, and you just stick it on there. Okay, this is our finances, but nothing has happened. Okay, you're insolvent. What you going to do about it? You're not making a profit. Your gearing is too high. What are you going to do about this? Like, finances tells you a story about the company, and that story can tell you whether your strategy is working or not, and you can develop business strategies based upon the finances. And that's why that's so important. So not only does the strategy that comes from the leadership impact the behavior and the operation of the whole company, but also vice versa, where as we get feedback from those departments, HR, our hiring strategy is not working. We can't, what do you know? We can't use incompetent people and pay them nothing in order to grow a company. Like, oh, that doesn't work. No, it doesn't work. You need people that are hardworking, competent, want to learn, otherwise. So as you implement strategies, those 7 pillars will react to it. There will be something that happens, and then they need to give feedback to the leadership to say, listen, So last year we cut, for example, we know this happened last year, 25%, not in our company, but in the big companies around the world. So last year we cut 25% of our staff. That was our strategy in order to save money so that we can make more profit for the shareholders. But what we did not anticipate is that it negatively influenced the morale in the company. The company culture got impacted. The productivity went down. We were not able to service clients, so our service quality went down. And we actually made less money than the year before with 25% more staff.
That's why bad strategy from like one pillar of the business can affect the other pillars. And then that's one thing that we have to be aware of, that even when we are thinking our strategy. That's why for you to get to a good strategy, you need time. You need time to think, not only to think about the strategy for the whole company, but also how to protect other pillars inside the company. Because let's say we can say our strategy this year, or let's say we want to make 100,000 or 100 million this year. How do we want to make it? Okay, this is a strategy we want to implement to make that money. Okay, inside now this strategy, how is this strategy is going to affect the other pillar or the pillars in the business? And then when we get there, now we have to come with a strategy and how to save those pillars. So that, because if the goal is to win, we must do our best to win with everyone inside, with all the pillars together, with everything together. Because most of the time, we don't spend time in things. We just say as a leader, okay, this is how we'll be doing things. You don't know the capacity of people. You don't know where they are at a level of, like, let's say, knowledge. You don't know, like, you just come, okay, I'm the boss. This is how we'll be doing things. That's why you see people like, okay, what do you think? If I get another opportunity there, because people would think like you don't consider them.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they are in a place that they are struggling with things. You don't put the money for their trainings to get to where they have to, like, to get the capacity or the capability to make those numbers. Because sometimes it takes only one skill to change the whole company. So you, as a leader, you go after that one. You think about that. But even when you think about that, you have to make sure that that is not going to affect other pillars. And then most of the time, that's where we miss.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the idea of, let's fire people to save money.
Yeah.
But that has a very consequential effect in the company that most of the time we don't consider that. But I was thinking maybe we can think about, and just in the last minutes that we still have some time, but talk about what are some practical ways that companies and people can develop a strategy. For example, and we can just we don't have to talk about all the different ways, but for example, when you are starting out a company, especially if you are a new entrepreneur, probably the best strategy is to copy someone else's strategy. You know, to look at what is working, like what is my competitors doing?
Yeah.
Who, you know, the people who are doing the same thing that I am, they have perfected this formula, and maybe I can't implement it 100% like theirs, but I have to look at what is their strategy so that I can mirror what is working and just tweak it for my own environment or my own company. That's probably a very good way to start off when you are inexperienced, because then you can learn quickly, from the strategies that they have implemented, because that strategy probably has evolved many times into something that works. If that company has been there for a long time, it means they're doing something right, at least. Or they have some stash of money somewhere. They're just funding them. And then you have, as you then start to run the company, and the company starts to take a life of its own, and this company starts to develop its own authority, then you need to then start to look at your strategy to change that. Now, this is also important, because if you don't start to change the strategy, then you will forever be in the shadow of the competition that you copied, and copy in this. I mean, we all copy each other there's nothing new, but in a good way, because it's good to copy some things, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. If the wheel works, then use the wheel. But at some point you need to differentiate yourself so that you can develop a different strategy that suits your company and its purpose and its goal and its vision better. But sometimes what happens is that some companies or people, they want to start off something when they have no experience in that field, and then they look at it and says, why is no one doing this, right? And there's only two answers to that question. Why has no one thought about this? Have you ever heard that in a conversation? You come up with an idea or you say something, or the person says something, and they're like, "Yo, that's so obvious. Why has nobody thought about this?" And it's like, okay, there's only two possible answers to that question. Number one, maybe really no one has thought about it, and then you have an incredible opportunity in front of you, right? Which is good. Or many people have thought about it, but it doesn't work. And this is the danger, and this is why I'm saying when you're starting out, it's good to look at what works, because you can't afford to make big mistakes.
I can say if you can afford it.
But most business startups can't afford it, unless if you are Wall Street startup.
There's so many businesses that start from nowhere, and then they come. Let's talk about social media. Someone had to do that. Someone had to create something, to come. And we have to agree that we don't have the same level of risk taking. If I feel like I can take this one, I have to take it.
Yeah.
If you feel like you cannot take it, don't take it. The one thing that is very important, and if I can say, in this year, if it's, in the last one I gave one skill, but I'm going to add one skill on top of that.
Your strategy has already evolved.
Yeah, like if there's two skill that you have to learn, it's to focus and to fail quickly. Failing quickly means once you realize that it's not working, move on, change. And then that's the strategy. If you see an opportunity that no one has been there, sometimes you don't have to think a lot. Sometimes you have to take the step to go in the water. You will know how deep is that water only if you go there. I don't know how other people think about. You cannot. I told you the story of me going to another village there, somewhere there in my country, Congo, and then they're telling me, no, you must sleep early because there's a lion who walk now, that lion is the one who who protect the village. I was, oh, what's going on? I want to see that lion. I'm telling you every day.
Yeah, kitty.
I will do my things just to. I want to see that lion, and I've never seen that lion. So imagine you tell, no, this is not working, and then I stop. I listen to why. It's not you who's taking the risk. I'm the one who's taking the risk. If I feel like I can afford it, I will go.
Yeah.
But when I'm going there, I have to focus, because sometimes going inside the water, going deep down, you might not maybe get a diamond inside there, but you can get a gold inside there. That can still serve you. And then you being there, maybe you are the one who's going to come with a new solution to win in that market by failing there. But if all of us will say, no, we don't go there because it's this, or no, I want to see that lion. If they will eat me, it's okay. End of the day, we're all going to die. You go, you die, I die on Monday, you die on Sunday. It's all dying. So you go, if you cannot afford to fail, stay aside, leave those one who can go, who can afford it.
Count the cost.
Yeah. So it's all up to you. But if you see a new market and no one is there, maybe it's the first one, as you said. No one know that there's opportunity there. Maybe you have to go there and discover. But if you fail, stand up, change the strategy. And that's all about it. That's all strategy about. It's all about. Strategy is you try one, it doesn't work, you change. Strategy is not a static thing.
Yeah.
Strategy is a dynamic way of thinking. You go in and says, it's you like sometimes when we sleep, we wake up in the other side. And the other day we wake up in the wrong side. Like that's all about, So focus. If you see opportunity, focus on the opportunity, study that opportunity. Focus here, it's about slow down, study. Study, and then after you study, take a decision. If you fail, don't cry, don't be there, stand up, continue, or change a new strategy.
Or ask for help.
Yeah, but never be scared, because it takes just one good decision to overcome your fear, to get to where you want.
Sometimes the lions of the stories is in order to keep away the competition.
Yeah.
So that can be the strategy of the competition, to say, no, don't go there. There's a lion there. Why? Because they don't want you to play in the same areas they are.
Yeah.
They want to keep you out of that market. They want to keep you away from it. So they fabricate, risk or through news and media and all kinds of things, so that you would think it's too hard to enter that market or too risky. So that's another, fear is a strategy used by some people and things.
Yes, you're saying it.
So, and also on the other hand, like all these things are different strategies. And it's important that as companies, when you are establishing your company or you're looking towards growing your company, first of all, like we said in the previous podcast, if you haven't listened, go listen to this, but leadership, develop your leadership, because leadership is the greatest factor when it comes to success in a company. And then secondly, investigate your strategy. Do you even have a strategy? A strategy, remember, is not a plan. It is the way, the route you're going to take to achieve that plan, to make sure that that plan works. And then you also need the skills, the tactics. And if you don't have the skills, then find people who have the tactics. Find people who can execute that strategy, because maybe you don't have the knowledge or the expertise or the strength or the ability or the finances to implement the strategy, but maybe there's someone else that can help you do that. So don't be afraid to include people, because ultimately, 50% of something is better than 100% of nothing. And so that also is a strategy that you can use to grow. And then you can use the success of that one thing that you share with somebody in order then to go and build the thing that you really wanted to build on your own, or whatever the dream is there. But I think for us, that is all we're going to talk about today on strategy. If you have any input to our listeners and viewers about strategy, what do you think is strategy, and how have you seen the effects of strategy? Or maybe share stories with us. What worked for you? What didn't work for you? When was a great strategy that worked out and you had great success, or maybe a strategy that doesn't work, and maybe you want to warn us about the lion in the street. So talk to us, share your comments with us, send your questions if you want to find out a little bit more about strategy or about what we do. But from my side, Gerold, thank you so much for listening today. Please be sure to listen also to our other episodes, and to share this maybe with a friend or a colleague, or maybe with your competition.
Yeah.
So that you can grow. So thank you from my side. Chris, thank you so much also for being on the podcast.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, and then just having you all the time.
Yeah.
And that podcast, it's a blessing.
Yeah, I can't wait for next month. Next month, we're going to be bringing some guests on the podcast, so we can interview them. So we're looking forward to that. And then we're definitely going to bring some people to talk about strategy as well.
Yes.
Thank you so much for listening today. This was the 7X Growth Podcast. Until the next episode, goodbye.